We are here today because Alabama is one of only 3 states, along with Mississippi and South Dakota, with no tax break on groceries. 4% of your grocery spending goes back into the state coffers. Think about how much food you purchase for 2 weeks for your family. The amount of money the state taxes you for those groceries is equivalent to 2 weeks worth of food. The good news is that we have more equitable and fair ways to fund education. Ways other than taking food away from hungry families who are pinching every penny. We are also one of only 2 states, along with Iowa, to provide the full state income tax deduction for federal income tax payments. We call this the FIT deduction, and it should give you a fit. It's an unfair tax break that disproportionately lowers taxes for upper income earners. This tax break costs our education budget over $900 million a year. By capping the federal income tax deduction, Alabama could afford to end the state sales taxes on groceries while protecting school funding. According to a new poll we commissioned earlier this year, which we just released on our website, allarise.org, nearly 3 in 5 Alabamians support legislation to remove the state sales tax on groceries without hurting education funding. The poll shows strong public support for untaxing groceries in a responsible way. This is a tax that increases hunger rates and drives struggling Alabamians deeper into poverty. Legislators have a clear path to untax groceries without cutting a dime of funding for public schools. They need to act now to seize this opportunity and improve life for families across our state.
Poverty and hunger are vital moral issues for people of faith. These issues are the result of a complex set of global and local issues, not necessarily a reflection of any kind of failure on the part of families who struggle with these issues. We have all heard it said, if people who live in poverty and struggle with hunger would work harder, act better, complain less, and pray more, they can be lifted out of their situation. But the truth is, poverty and hunger in America and in Alabama are caused by policies such as taxing groceries. Low-income families run out of money and run out of food before their next paychecks. Untaxing groceries will put more money for food in the pocket and purses of low-income families. Food is the most basic of human need. My Christian faith and all the great faith traditions call us to do what we can to help and to meet human need, especially the need of people who are living with hunger.
And it's neither, I want to be clear, it's neither a Republican or a Democrat issue. It's an issue for the people and for the working people of Alabama, which is why I'm pleased to be carrying this legislation in the Alabama Senate. So it struck me, we've had this legislation for years, but no one had addressed how we fix the revenue hole for our education budget. So most of you realize that our tax on groceries goes into our education budget, and no one wants to be responsible for cutting our children's education because they are the future. And so as I thought on this, I came up with the idea to offset the 2 revenues, and I'm sure you'll hear more details about that later. But the net result of that is that anyone making under $300,000 will see a net tax decrease. So, and the people that receive the most help are the folks in the bottom percentile, the bottom folks who are struggling the most to put food on their table. So this is a good piece of legislation. It's fiscally sound. It's going to be revenue neutral to our kids' education. It's going to help people who are struggling to put food on the table, and I'm honored to carry it, and look forward to working with all of you folks who are partners in this. We want to get this up for a vote. We want to continue to raise awareness. When I mentioned cutting the grocery tax to colleagues, many of them still are ingrained to believe that it's the same bill that they've been hearing for 20 years or so about just doing away with the tax, and that's going to leave a hole in our budgets. So we need to educate folks. We need to make sure that we're clear on what this bill does, communicate with them, and I'm just glad to be standing here with you all today and have partners in this fight. And so thank you for having me. Anything else you'd like me to elaborate on? Or?
Bill number SB 43.
That's right, SB 43. We need you to get your senators and representatives behind you.
And I'm so glad to see you all here today. in support of our tax off of the groceries. This is something that has been a fight down here for many, many years, and one that I would like to take upon myself to continue that fight on behalf of you all and myself and the citizens of Alabama. It is always a hardship, as we know. I always bring about my own personal experiences. And so when I delve into things, I think about what I go through personally. You have to make those decisions of, do I buy clothes today? Do I buy food? Do I pay my power bill? And I have those choices I've had to make because I've been a caregiver for over 16 years with my family. And as a person passes in your family, if you all have not had that experience before, like the old folks used to say, just keep on holding on, because you will. You know, we are 1 out of 4 states that do not take taxes off of groceries. And I want to see that change and work with the ones here, work with the senators here, work with the lawmakers. I would love for this to be a bipartisan bill. And so I do want to work closely with the legislators and with the senators and hoping that we can find a solution where we can come together. Because this is not a Democratic issue, it's not a Republican issue, it's a people's issue.
In the session, I think there's 9 days left. Do you think, what are the chances you think of passing this year? Are you getting any kind of feedback that gives you any kind of optimism?
Well, they can pass a bill in 5 days, and we know that when they really care about something, they can do it really quickly. So it's our job to make them know how important this is. They've got time to do it. You know, we've heard they may not end the session early, as we had thought, so we hope that they will take the time to look at this, to hear SB 43 in the Senate. We hope that Representative McClammy will be able to file her bill today as well. And we're optimistic. We know that, as we heard from Senator Jones, you don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican to know this is a good issue to support.
About asking the question about there are 9 days left and is there a real chance of this happening? I just want to remind us, all of us, that your being here is what's needed to help them understand how important it is that this pass. It's the voices of people multiplied, because those of you who are here in the room are only representative of thousands of other people who couldn't be in the room today, but who are making calls, who've been reaching out to their legislators, who answered the question in that poll saying this is important, and we have to remind our legislators.